over the years. He absolutely dominates the competition, and he is also a very routine-oriented pitcher. We've also learned that he's two different guys depending upon if he's pitching or not. Yesterday, full of shenanigans, a lot of fun, joking around with the guys in the dugout prior to the game, blowing bubbles, throwing things, dancing around. However, on the day that he pitches, he's a completely different person, incredibly regimented. He has to be stretched 34 minutes prior to first pitch. Whatever the time of first pitch is, he gets stretched 34 minutes. There's Brandon McDaniel. He knows he better be out there because Clayton absolutely insists that his routine, the day that he pitches, is the same every time. He has 3 Cy Youngs, almost a 4th, and an MVP. It obviously works.
Yeah, and he's earned the right to have it down to the minute on his schedule. That's also why you saw him so upset the last time he faced the Rockies when Tyler Anderson took his time getting in from the Dodger Stadium visiting bullpen. So Kershaw had to stand on the mound and wait for Anderson to get into the dugout before he could throw the game's first pitch. And a guy as regimented as him looked at that as really disrespectful.
Rude, downright rude, and Clayton can't break away from his routine, or maybe he would have done a turnabout's fair play a little bit, but he wants to get in the dugout before the opposing pitchers there. Here at home, he had to wait, and that was not a lot of fun. And you know what? Some people tongue-in-cheek said maybe that's what you needed to do to beat Clayton Kershaw because he had a rocky first inning.
Dodgers coming to bat to get this one started, and their lineup, as always, brought to you by Honda. Familiar look in the top of it. Jock Peterson and then Seager, Turner, and Bellinger. It's the 5th consecutive game that's been the lineup 2 through 4. Grandal had a pinch hit double last night. He bats 5th. Then Chris Taylor. Chase Utley, perhaps the hottest Dodger right now. And Yasiel Puig hitting 8th and starting in right. It's the youngest rotation in the majors. They average 24 years old per starter, but Tyler Chatwood, the oldest of the bunch at 27. Been an interesting year for him all. He had a complete game 2-hit shutout at San Francisco in mid-April. His last time out he was really good. 1 run over 7 innings against Arizona, but in the other 5 starts he's gotten blown up.
And he has not pitched well here at home at all. Last year had the highest home ERA of any major leaguer, 6.12, and he has picked up right where he left off here at home. He's got a 5.4, so his 2-seam fastball doesn't quite sink as much here, so he's got to have better command, not just throwing strikes.
There perhaps has never been a better example of the Coors Field effect. The best in the majors on the road, the worst in the majors here. Jock Peterson climbs in, and away we go with strike 1. The Dodgers 11-4 in their last 15 games. That's the best in the majors during that stretch. Rockies, meanwhile, with their best record at this date in franchise history. Outside, it's 1-1. They're 23-13, first place in the West, and 10 games above 500 for the first time in 7 years. Peterson on the ground and starts this game with a single. Had a really impressive batting practice today. Deposited a ball into the 3rd deck in right and opens this game with a base hit.
Jock was swinging the bat well and wasn't hitting many on the ground, but he'll take that one right there. And you see that glaring sun here in Colorado this time of year that really focuses in on the people over there at first.
So with the leadoff man on, here's Seager. On a perfect night for baseball. Seager goes after the first pitch and flies it to center. Charlie Blackmon is there, and Seager on 1 out, or on 1 pitch, retired for the first out. Rockies defense brought to you by Keck Medicine of USC, and with Nolan Arenado leading the charge, they've made a huge turnaround defensively over the last year.
The 85 chances this year has not made an error. He is fantastic over there. He's a highlight film every night.
3rd in the National League in defensive efficiency. They were 2nd worst in the league a year ago. And with a man at first and 1 gone, it's Justin Turner. Turner rips one foul.
Justin loves to hit here. Career against the Rockies 371, at Coors 356, so he actually owns the Rockies better when he plays them at Dodger Stadium. He'll take them either place. He just wore out this pitching staff.
2 doubles against Chatwood in their previous meetings. Nice stop by Garneau, and it's 1-1.
And Justin, with his theory on making sure he tries to elevate the ball, not hit it on the ground, that works very well here at Coors.
Although, as we'll dive into as this game rolls on, this Rockies pitching staff has become one of the best in baseball at limiting those fly balls by design in this ballpark under first-year manager Bud Black. Rockies are 4-2 against the Dodgers here in 2017, and when you go back to the beginning of the 2015 season, Rockies have won 12 of the last 17 between these teams here in Denver. Two and one. Peterson hanging on. Good secondary lead, but Garneau keeps it close.
Thought about it. The ball just doesn't get far enough away. A good read as it bounds off of Justin Turner's back foot. He sees it, but then it hits the foot and he gets back.
We talk about Coors Field and how it can be a fun place to hit, not a fun place to pitch. I think overall it's probably not a fun place to come when you're losing as frequently as the Dodgers have. 3-1, and that can be said about anywhere, but especially this place. I'd imagine that it could really gnaw at you not playing well in this ballpark.
It really gnaws at you because you feel like you missed a huge opportunity, and you want to win here, and you want to score runs, and you want to hit here. As a pitcher, you just want to survive.
3-2.
Look at that fly ball by Corey Seager. First put out the Chatwoods had in the air in the last 2 games. There was none in his last start. All ground balls.
He's 3rd best in the National League in ground ball percentage. The guy leading that category is his teammate Kyle Freeland. Top 3 all NL West. Clayton Richard of the Padres is 2nd. Peterson runs on a payoff and Turner slaps it foul.
Pretty good equation to start him on a 3-2 pitch. Justin Turner, you understand that he can put the ball in play and protect the strike zone, and Jock Peterson runs real well. Not a stolen base threat, but has good speed. Might have taken Justin out of the strike zone a little bit there, but trying to shoot that hole over there where Jock is.
Runs again, and Turner tries to lay off, throw down. They got him. It's a strike him out, throw him out to finish the inning. First base umpire Bill Miller pumped the fist and said that Turner went around, and everybody's confused, but because they said that he offered, it is a strike him out, throw him out, and the inning is over. Clayton Kershaw ready to take the ball for the Dodgers, trying to even the series at a game apiece. And it is, with the exception of one spot at catcher, exactly the same as last night. Blackmon, LeMahieu, and Arenado. Then Reynolds, Desmond, and Gonzalez in the middle. Valaika, the starting shortstop, with Trevor Story on the DL, and Garneau catching Chatwood. It's Clayton Kershaw's 8th start of the season. We take a look at the mini Countryman player profile. 2 of the first 7 starts have come against the Rockies. Struck out a season-high 10 against them at Dodger Stadium on April 19th. But less than 2 weeks before that, Oral gave up 4 runs on 8 hits, and that included 3 home runs for just the 2nd time in his career.
Really, Clayton has kind of been hot or cold. 5-2. The ERA in the losses is 5.25. The ERA in the wins is down where it belongs for Clayton Kershaw and his high standards. One of the things to really watch today is, I think, the fact is his slider really breaking, and how hard is he throwing it?
This is away with the first one to Blackmon.
For a lot of people, it's been a little tighter and a little harder, and more like a cut fastball than the dominant slider that really bites and goes down.
Blackmon grounds it to first. And Utley takes it to the bag for the first out. Dodger defense brought to you by Keck Medicine of USC. Utley with his 3rd consecutive start at first. Asked him today if he has his own first baseman glove, and he said, you know what, for a few years I've been carrying one around because you just never know. First time he'd started at first in 2 years this year, but Chase always prepared for every scenario.
As much as you handle the ball over there, you want a glove that actually fits your hand. And you might say, well, if one first baseman's glove is the same as the other, they're not. And especially for a guy who's used to a small glove at second base, he's probably wanting a smaller first baseman's glove.
1 out for DJ LeMahieu. Kershaw comes home, and a line drive base hit into center. So the reigning batting champ with a 1-out single here in the first.
Fastball in, and he throws it up and down the middle, and DJ just hits it right where he pitched it. Came in the height of a line drive, went out the height of a line drive.
And now it's Arenado, who has homered twice against Kershaw in his career. And over the last 2+ seasons, nobody in the National League has hit more home runs and driven in more RBIs than this man. Strike 1. "26 years old now. That stretch where he's leading the National League in homers and RBIs. That corresponds with him changing his mindset at the plate. Waits on an 0-1 and takes ball 1. Broke in thinking, you know what, I'm going to be a guy that goes up there and grinds. I'm going to battle. And then shifted his thinking before the 2015 season, and his one swing thought, and obviously there's more that goes into each at bat, but his primary swing thought, crush the ball. And he has. 2-1.
Keep the priorities in order, and if the priorities are first get a strike, and then when you swing as hard as you can to crush the ball to be able to stay together. And he has done that very well. A lot of guys, when they have that thought about crushing the ball or hitting as hard as they can, they fly apart. That whole front side flies out. They can't cover the outside pitch, but he's proven he can cover the whole plate.
On 2-1, he takes ball 3. Homered against Kershaw in this ballpark in Clayton's first start here this year. He said he went up with a very specific plan against Kershaw, somebody he's seen a bunch over his 5 years in the majors. And what made his home run unique was that it was off a Kershaw curve. It was only the 4th time that Kershaw's allowed a homer off of his curveball the last 3 years. His 3-1. Bouncing ball to third. Turner's got it. To second, 1. Taylor to first, and a double play. Around the horn they go. 5-4-3, and Kershaw faces the minimum in a scoreless first. quicker first inning than yesterday. We look at our Coors Light cold hard fact. We mentioned this last inning, but the Rockies' #1 ground ball percentage from their pitchers in baseball. And it would reason that the fly ball percentage would also be low, but when you factor in the line drive percentage, it's not a sure thing that they have the lowest fly ball percentage in baseball, but they do. Cody Bellinger takes ball 1 to start the second. Two and out.
You come to this ballpark, even Clayton Kershaw in his first inning was really concentrating on keeping the ball down. And I'm sure he's reminded of the back-to-back home runs that he gave up last time he was here.
Quickly, 3 balls and no strikes on Bellinger. Saw a moment ago leading the National League among rookies in all 3 Triple Crown categories. And a green light on 3-0, 3-1. In fact, since he debuted, he leads all players in the National League in home runs. He's 3rd in RBIs. 6 homers, 17 knocked in his first 15 games. And he's got a walk to open the second.
A 3-0 green light and a 3-1 possible bunt attempt if I don't get a strike. And he works on that every day.
Here's Grandal, who in the blink of an eye has raised his average from something you would want to keep your eyes shut on to 276. Pinch hit 2-run double last night. He shows bunt, takes ball 1. Hitting streak for him right now is 6, and he's hitting close to 500 during that stretch. We talked about it. It's corresponded with Dave Roberts having a talk with him, saying, look, a lot of what makes you successful when you're right is that you scare pitchers out of the zone and refuse to chase. And right now, or before this hot stretch, he wasn't scaring anybody out of the zone, and then when they were missing, he was going after it.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at the Land Rover Performance Spotlight right here, and boy, he has been hot those last 8 games, and he loves to face Chatwood on the mound.
Ahead of him 2-0.
5 for 7 off of Chatwood with damage. You see the little previews when you come into a series, and then there'll be a batter that the pitcher loves to face and a batter that the pitcher hates to face. Well, Yasmani was the hates to face.
On the corner, 2-1. He has hit for the cycle against Chatwood in his career against him. 5 of 7 with a single, a double, a triple, a homer. He's also walked. Got him with Bellinger at first and nobody out, and taking strike 2.
Right on the edge. Yasmani just checking. Is that as far as you're going to go? See what PitchCast says.
Got him swinging. Second K for Chatwood. 1 out in the second.
Little hanging breaking ball or high changeup.
Whatever it wasn't a fastball. And we talked about the issues that Tyler Chatwood had in this ballpark last year and this year as well too. But a lot of that has had to do with an over-reliance on the fastball. Threw it more than 90% of the time last year when you combine the 4-seam and the 2-seam and the cutter. Here's Chris Taylor. Strike 1.
And that really zeroes in on what a hitter needs to do as far as the speed, because hitting is, you know, squaring up the ball, of course, and trying to hit it hard, but also timing it. And so really removes one of the components that you worry about as a hitter. Everything is going to be hard. But Black really encouraging him to up the percentage of off-speed stuff.
Ball and a strike on Taylor.
Even goes back-to-back right there with off-speed pitches.
27-year-old from Southern California. The Redlands. 6th year with Major League time. Debuted with the Angels. She grew up an Angels fan. That was a 2nd-round pick. Rockies got him in exchange for Chris Iannetta in 2012. Here's his 1-1. That's up on Taylor, and it's 2-1. And Chatwood returned last year, had a pretty good season when he put the two extreme splits together. And what was his first year back after missing all of 2015, most of 2014, following Tommy John surgery. 3-1. It was his second Tommy John procedure. In fact, Tyler is the only active starting pitcher in the majors that has had 2 Tommy John surgeries. You have Daniel Hudson, who the Dodgers saw in the Pirates bullpen, has had 2, but he's a reliever. Dr. James Andrews did his second, and his encouraging message to Tyler was, look, your first one was so long ago, it was while he was in high school, that it's almost like this is your first. His second walk of the inning has runners at first and second.
Not a guarantee that you're going to come back when you get Tommy John. Everybody thinks, oh, you know, that surgery is in every pitcher's future and everybody comes back, but it's not that way at all.
Utley now with 2 on and 1 out. Finally starting to swing it.
We were down there observing BP. He had a really good BP also. It was line drive after line drive.
Nothing in 1. Had his first multi-hit game of the season in the final game of the homestand, and then followed that last night with a 3-hit performance. Included a triple. And then came up with the bases loaded in the 9th, representing the tying run, and grounded into his first double play in 2 seasons. Lines this ball to right center field. Blackman can't get there, and it bounces by him. This will bring home a pair, and Chase Utley streaking to third. Dodgers up 2-0, and Chase Utley stays hot.
Chase Utley has really come around and rewarded Dave Roberts' loyalty and respect for him, that he, if I get him at bats and keep him relevant, he will come around. And Chase Utley has been a big part of this offense lately. That has been an explosive one. I'm sure there was a little bit of redemption in that for him with that double play yesterday. He really wanted to finish off that rally.
Both of his triples in this series have been of the stand-up variety. Borderline inside the park home runs. Yasiel Puig taking a ball off of the inside. I say borderline because he had to be stopped. It wasn't like he raced into third and there was no question if he was going home. Waited for Chris Woodward to tell him to stop running. A 1-0. That's ball 2.
Chatwood hurt by the walks. Both runs that scored were base on balls. And the big knock comes.
So the infield pulled in. Here's a 2-0. Puig fouls it off, 2-1. As good as Chase has been the last couple nights, as good as he was yesterday, Puig on the other end of that spectrum right now. 0 for 5 last night, struck out twice, and for the first time in a long time, maybe the first time this year, we saw him give away an at-bat with back-to-back pitches in the dirt. A 2-1. 2-2.
Yasiel is definitely feeling for it. Not seeing the ball real well. Still working on the hitting mechanics to find his rhythm. He carries it with him every moment of the day. Baseball is his life. He was still grinding on the 0 for 5 today around the cage with Turner Ward.
To have a great relationship. It's an incredible amount of trust that Yasiel has with Ward. It's developed in a relatively short amount of time, in just over a year. Spiked in there, and the third walk of the inning has runners at the corners.
Chatwood is trying to keep the ball down, but he's actually just spiking it down there. It's a conscious thought to keep the ball down here, but boy, these are just missing by a lot. His walks are not the typical high and away to the arm side walks. These are over aggressively keeping the ball down.
The mental side of pitching here.
Sure is. You give up runs here, but you can't give up. And the opposing team and the opposing pitcher, even though it's Clayton Kershaw, he's got to pitch in the same environment.
Speaking of the opposing pitcher, here he is. Had a good year at the plate. Joe's bunt takes a ball.
It's really the only award he has not won is the Silver Slugger. Knowing Clayton and the way he loves to hit and play the game, he'd probably be put in a very prominent place if he won the Silver Slugger in his house.
Oh, it hits him in the box foul. It's 1-1.
Look at Chase Utley.
Love that.
Right there. Not assuming what he sees and knows is going to be called, but just waiting for the umpire to call it. And he's in the shot right about now. Where are you, Chase? There he is.
Not taking any chances. You better be careful of your Chatwood knowing who's over there at third. Gets this one down. They go back to the plate and get Utley.
It wasn't a safety squeeze. It wasn't a suicide squeeze. It was just Clayton's going to try and get the bunt down on an angle where they can't make the play. And you can't really read this. You're going on contact right here. They didn't want to go suicide squeeze, but they just hoped Clayton would get an angle on the bunt, and he didn't.
A play where Dustin Garneau was thankful for the new, not new anymore, but the collision rule at home plate. Don't imagine 2 or 3 years ago Chase Utley would have been sliding feet first on that play. 2 on, 2 out. Second time through the order. Jock Peterson started the game with a single. Ball 1. We're talking about his BP. He homered into the third deck. That's like up at the top of the foul pole. Look out in the on-deck circle, right past his buddy Corey Seager. And he can smile because everybody's okay.
Seager's the first line of defense, and right behind him is Dave Roberts and Bob Guerin and Chase Utley in that front row of the dugout. They all got loosened up a little bit.
Except Chase. That ball's pummeled down the line. Peterson hits it to the wall. Puig scores easily. Kershaw stopped at third and an RBI double from Jock Peterson. And the Dodgers with a 3 spot in the second.
Jock really hits this ball hard. There's a lot of top hand in that swing. There's no drop of the barrel there. Top spin line drive bullet. And ball, you talked about him hitting in BP up there in the third deck. That was the exit velocity of that, just not the launch angle.
So Seager now flied to center on the first pitch that he saw from Chatwood his first time up. Takes ball 1. It's a little more perspective on how high that home run Peterson hit during BP was. The third level right in front of those restaurants. Two and 0. It's a 32 pitch inning now for Chatwood.
Yesterday's first inning took a while. 54 pitches between the two pitchers. Mr. Ryu threw 30 of them, and on the other side there was 24. Took about a half hour. It was a long first inning.
3-0.
It's only been one 500-foot home run hit here by Giancarlo Stanton. 504. I think the way the ball carried, maybe there'd be more than one. And second is an old-time Dodger, Mike Piazza. 496 was hit here in this ballpark back in 1997.
3-0 green light down the left field line. A fair ball into the corner. How about a 5 spot for the Dodgers in the second? 2-run double, Corey Seager.
Chase Utley started off with a triple and now a couple of doubles. Jock Peterson and Corey Seager, a very sweet swing right there, staying back, letting the ball travel and hitting the ball hard. Dodgers have gone from one line to the other here in the last two hitters.
And matched the Rockies' big inning from the second inning yesterday when they scored 2 in the first and then 5 in the second. And Turner to the plate with a 5-0 lead. He takes ball 1. Chris Russin starting to warm in the Rockies bullpen. Now, one thing the Dodgers were able to do yesterday, didn't complete that comeback, but they did force the closer to warm. In a game they once trailed 10-0. Greg Holland had to come in. Turner checks on Arenado at third. He's got it. And the inning is over. But the Dodgers get 5 runs on 3 hits and 3 walks. Kershaw to work as we go to the bottom of the second inning, and in his career in the regular season, this has been enough 88 out of 88 times.
Absolutely amazing record that he has not had a blemish there. When they get the run support for him at that level, he finishes the task. It's awe-inspiring. I mean, there's a lot of numbers in his career that he has posted so far that it's already a Hall of Fame career. But that is one of the more awe-inspiring numbers.
29-year-old from Texas in his 10th major league season. 3-time Cy Young Award winner, 2011, 2013, 2014. Only 4 pitchers have won more than 3. Middle third of the order, Mark Reynolds starting the second and taking ball one. Reynolds number 3 in the National League in homers and in RBIs. What a year it's been for a guy that signed a minor league contract this offseason. Takes low and it's 2-0. We told the story last night, but it's a big part of the story of their season, and that is that with Ian Desmond breaking his hand during spring training, that opened the door for Reynolds to make the team, and he's having a career year. Dribbled softly to third. Turner charges. Reynolds doesn't run nearly as well as he once did, and he gets him for the first out. Did you see Utley kind of backing away from that throw? It's that time of night where the sun can be so tough on first baseman here.
He had it for most of it because Justin kind of threw it from a down under angle, but the end, when the ball got some height, it got in that glare. So Justin charged it, kind of get away from the sun, but as that ball gets to the top there, right there, the last 10 feet or so, almost like an outfielder losing it in the lights.
Here's Ian Desmond taking strike one. Jay said that playing first base, even though it is the position closest to where he's played his entire career, it is significantly different. Even just basic ground balls off of the bat. A curve is low and it's 1-1. The most difficult play, he said, is that in-between ball that we've seen him actually make a play on in his few days there, where it's hit to his right and you wonder, do you go get it or do you leave it for the second baseman and go cover first? 2-1.
And that's a read that people that have played first for a long time, they can read it right off the angle of the bat right away, where a guy who hasn't been there and doesn't have those reps takes an extra half a second or so to read the play.
Desmond with a soft ground ball to short. Seager will have to hurry. Not in time. Ian Desmond, an infield single.
Well, Desmond runs like a middle infielder, even though he is playing the outfield. Corey Seager does everything he can, charging it hard and throwing it strongly, but Desmond is just too quick.
So one out base runner against Kershaw's. Carlos Gonzalez comes up. One of his best nights of the season last night against Ryu. Was 2 for 24 to open the month of May before going 2 for 4 last night. Strike one. These two guys' careers, Kershaw and Gonzalez, matching up exactly as far as the time they came into the league. Gonzalez, though, debuted in Oakland. It's easy to forget that he wore a different cap at one point, but for a few games in his rookie year before he was traded here, he was an A. Came over in the Matt Holliday deal for the 2009 season. Even before Oakland, he was an Arizona farmhand. Desmond at first with one away. And out of the stretch, Kershaw home with an 0-2. Ball one.
Clayton sticking with the gas right here, trying to beat him up the ladder. Snuck 2 by him up and in. Go right back to the same hole you think is there. You can go low and away with the slider.
Going down and away, and a line drive to center, but it hangs up for Peterson. Goes over his glove and off of the wall in center. Desmond stopped at third. Gonzalez into second. That thing just kept on going.
Carlos Gonzalez goes out and just digs a slider out low and away and puts a sweet swing on it. And this ball must have some serious backspin on it to have that kind of carry and fool Jock Peterson to flex off the top of his glove. And Clayton Kershaw now having to pitch out of a second and third, 1-out jam.
And you mentioned the slider, which has not been as good this year as throughout the rest of his career. Pat Valaika with men at second and third and one out. Goes after the first one. It's hit foul. It's 0-1. Opponents this year hitting above 260 off of Kershaw's slider. Prior to this season, around 155.
It has been a little firmer, 2 to 3 mile an hour firmer, and with less break. You think about there, Cargo, 3 fastballs up and in, and then he goes for the put away pitch, down and away slider, and it was a little firm and a little flat. He's still able to get the bat on. If that was slower and broke more down, probably waves at it.
RBI chance for the rookie Valaika. Starting with Story on the disabled list. Curve misses, 1-1. Southern California native Pat Valaika takes it in the dirt, jumps ahead 2-1. And Desmond hanging on at third, and the same at second for Gonzalez. Valaika out of Santa Clarita. Debuted with a few games last year. Up and down this year. Back-to-back starts now at short, and that'll be his spot, at least for the short term, with Story banged up. A 2-1. Strike 2.
Slider right there. Pretty much the same pitch that Cargo hit the center over Jock's head. Watch this one. It's got a little bit of depth to it. You're so used to seeing Clayton bury that on people's back foot, especially those right-handers.
Could use a strikeout here. That's the 2-2 fly, and gets one with another slider. His first K of the game, but the second out here in the second inning.
Clayton's reaction after that pitch says, I missed my spot, but I got what I wanted, the strikeout. He didn't give you a fist bump. He didn't really give you any kind of facial expression like, yes, I did it. It was more like, I got away with one. This is where you weigh the risk reward on, do I pitch around him to go after the pitcher? I'm up 5-0. It'll make my next inning a little easier. I'm going to start out pitching to him. See where the count goes from here.
He has dominated Garneau. And catches the corner with the first pitch. Garneau in his career against Kershaw 0 for 7 with 5 Ks. The 0-1. Strike 2. Firm, but a little bit of depth.
Yeah, that ball went down really well. And I can't tell you if it was a slider or a cutter. Feels like it broke more like a cutter there. It's a big slider, or a small slider, or a big cutter right there. It's a high quality pitch, just hard to find it.
Trying to strand him at second and third. This one slips out of his hand for ball 1. Used to just be fastball curve when he broke into the majors. Added that slider a couple of years in when teams were sitting on the fastball, taking the curveball. Bullpen session at Wrigley Field one day between starts. Had never even tried a slider. first few that he snapped off, gold. His 20th pitch of the second inning. Just misses outside, and it's 2-2.
You see the fastball velocity there flash at 94 miles an hour. So when we've seen the slider at 89 or 90, you can call it a slider, or you can call it a big cutter. He is trying to make it go left or right. I think that's what he'll go with here.
Desmond singled with one out. Gonzalez doubled. They're at second and third. The Dodgers getting Kershaw this 5-0 lead to work with. He's ready for a 2-2 to Garneau. And it's taken low, full count.
Tried to go down and in. Got it down, just didn't get it in. Just kind of left it out. Kind of effectively wild right now.
Similar to how he was against San Diego. Last time out, he gave up just 1 run over 7 1/3. He struck out 9, but he walked 4. That was the most in 2 years. With a pitcher on deck, his payoff gets him as he finally gets that slider buried. Back-to-back Ks after the Rockies put him at second and third.
Up as the first 3 in the order. A couple of updates for you. Dave Roberts saying earlier today that Adrian Gonzalez will go out on a rehab assignment next week. Expect Gonzo to play in about 2 to 3 rehab games before they reevaluate to see when he can come off of that disabled list. Hyunjin Ryu, after the worst performance of his career, at least at this level in the United States, had a conversation with Doc yesterday, and Dave says he knows that he has the confidence in Ryu and that he will get back to form. However, he will not pitch on his next turn, being pushed back about 1 to 2 days. So as far as the rotation is concerned in San Francisco, guys, Ryu not a part of that. It'll be McCarthy, Hill, and Kershaw against the Giants.
All right, Alana. Here's Bellinger looking at a fastball that puts him behind 0-2. Awesome news, though. The Rich Hill is ready to go for Tuesday, huh?
I think it's fantastic for him personally and for the team, because if you go with Rich Hill in there, McCarthy the way he's throwing the ball, Urias the way he's throwing the ball, Alex Wood the way Ryu has time to maybe get himself back together and get going. But it's a very deep rotation if Rich Hill is Rich Hill.
He gets Bellinger with a curve for the first out of the third. third punch out for Chatwood. He got Grandal his first time up with a strikeout. Starts him off speed, strike one. Mentioned 2 Tommy John surgeries for Chatwood. First one came when he was 16 years old, between his freshman and sophomore years of high school. Didn't even play baseball when he was a sophomore because of the rehab. Didn't pitch when he was a junior, just played center field. 1 ball and 1 strike. Started pitching again when he was a senior, and did enough for the Angels to select him. Then under the knife again in 2014. Breaking ball 1-2. Dr. Andrews took a ligament out of his hamstring this time, and then he inserted it through the drill holes from the first Tommy John. I would imagine, yeah, I would imagine that would be, and it's all relative, but less painful if you didn't have to have the extra drill holes put in. Ground ball to second, 2 up and 2 down in the third.
The rehab might be a little quicker.
Just like me calling Bruce Bochy's heart surgery minor. Easy for us to sit up here and say.
Yeah. I wonder if that's why he doesn't like to throw that many curveballs, that he has to be encouraged to throw them because he has 2 Tommy Johns in his past, and maybe he thinks that's how it happened, the stress from throwing the breaking ball.
Yeah, and he said the slider was a big part of that. Part of the reason why he's tightened it up into a cutter, which he uses for strike one on Chris Taylor. Another breaking ball, and it's 0-2. Very intense, fiery guy. Works fast. Tyler Chatwood. Looking for his first 1-2-3 inning. Ball one. Another curve. This one's hit foul. I'm willing to bet this is the most or the highest percentage of curveballs he's thrown in any start in his career. Again, last year he was 90% fastball.
I can see why they want him to throw it, because he really can spin a baseball. He needs an off-speed pitch that the big leaguers respect. Big leaguers can time a bullet, and if they know the bullet's coming about 80–90%, they can really time it up.
He's home with the 2-2, and it's a bullet for strike 3. So 1-2-3 inning for Chatwood, but the Dodgers with a 5-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the third. welcome inside Joe and Oral. And I guess you go back to the 4th inning yesterday. The Rockies scored the first 10 runs of this series, but since then the Dodgers have scored 12 in a row.
Yeah, they almost made the biggest comeback in Dodger history coming back. Fell short with 7 runs, but picked right up where they left off here. Big 5 spot. They didn't get 5 in 1 inning last night. They got 7 as they pecked away, but just ran out of time.
9-1-2 for the Rockies in this inning. Tyler Chatwood puts this one in play. Justin Turner charges and gets it. Come watch the Dodgers play host to the Cubs in a 3-game series Memorial Day weekend. Friday, May 26th through Sunday the 28th. A rematch of the National League Championship Series. For the only visit for the Cubs, at least during the regular season in 2017. Go to Dodgers.com/tickets. Should be a fun homestand. 4 with the Marlins. Don Mattingly coming back to LA. 3 with the Cardinals, who are in first place in the Central, and then 3 with the Cubs. Charlie Blackmon, second trip to the order now for Colorado. Ball 1. So if you listened last night, you heard us talking about, you just mentioned the biggest comebacks in franchise history. Biggest comeback in franchise history, so when you include the days in Brooklyn, is 8. It's fouled off. It's 1-1. That seemed low until we heard that the biggest comeback in LA Dodger history is only 6.
And that seems low.
Seems really low.
It's really odd. You would think with all the baseball games that have been played in a Dodger uniform that there would have been a comeback greater than 6 in the LA times.
1-2. Biggest in baseball history, 12. It's been done a few times. Most recently, 2001, the Indians did it against a Mariners team that set a modern-day record for wins in the regular season. Had 8 All-Stars on the team and blew a 12-run lead. Blackmon rips one towards the right field corner, foul. Kershaw not happy with that one, swatting at the ball as he gets it back from Grandal. Clayton 2 Ks, no walks. He's allowed 3 hits once through the order.
I mentioned that he's effectively wild, and 7 out of 9 first pitch strikes. So he's attacking and is locating early in the count. It's just figuring out ways to put guys away. Hold him to such high standards.
Yeah, I know. That one's pulled by Chase Utley down the line into the corner. Blackmon can really run. Puig can really throw. Blackmon on his way to third. Here's the relay late. And a 1-out triple.
One foul down the right field line, one fair down the right field line, and this kind of eats up Chase Utley. This ball is scorched. He gives it a great effort. This ball then ends up carrying around down in the corner down there. Yasiel picks it up eventually, but too late before Blackmon arrives at third base.
Second inning in a row, the Rockies have had a man at third with 1 out. Last inning, Kershaw was able to strike out the 7 and 8 hitters to get out of that with no damage. DJ LeMahieu, the 2-hitter, takes a strike. Singled on the first pitch that he saw in the first inning. 28 years old, reigning batting champ, had the highest batting average in the majors in 6 years last year, hitting .348. And he's got a line drive to center for another base hit. The Rockies have their first run. RBI single, DJ LeMahieu.
Rockies at that point were 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position, 2 Ks, but this is a base hit for LeMahieu. Dodgers 3 for 5 with runners in scoring position, so Rockies trying to catch up in that category. Arenado
now. Kershaw got him to bounce into a double play his first time up.
It's where Clayton Kershaw has been so good over his career, just eliminating damage, maintaining his concentration, not having things spiral out of control. It's one of the significant things and assets of a true winner. He just keeps competing.
Here's his 0-1. 0-2.
The last time up, the pitch sequence, he lit up the outside corner, then missed. And he continued to stay hard with the cutters and the sliders, keeping the ball down, really forcing it down, and then went back to the outside lane on the outer half, got a ground ball double play that the Dodgers turned very neatly.
Ahead of Arenado 0-2. And delivers. Smacks softly to second. Could be another double play. 4-6-3 this time. The second time Kershaw has gotten Arenado to ground into a twin killing. Rockies get one, but only one. And after 3, 5-1. LA is brought to you by the Ram 1500 Rebel. Experience the power and toughness of Ram at your local dealer. And by Jack in the Box. Come try the new guacamole and bacon chicken sandwich only at Jack in the Box. This is the second day in a row we've looked back on a Dodger no-hitter against the Giants. This date in 1956, Carl Erskine did it. His second career no-hitter. He had gotten the Cubs in 52, then got the Giants in 56. There's Jackie Robinson over his right shoulder. Jackie had the signature defensive play like every no-hitter seems to have. Chase Utley leads off this inning and takes a strike. Jackie snared a line drive from Willie Mays to preserve it, starting at third that day. Erskine and Koufax, the only Dodgers with multiple no-hitters. 1-1. Tripled his first time. Chase now 7 of his last 11. 2-1. How about that?
It is getting hot. His average now just below the Mendoza line.
3-1. He's also walked twice during that stretch, so he's been on base 9 of his last 13 trips up there. Hitters count, the 3-1 pitch, and he walks to open this 4th inning against Chatwood.
Chatwood has walked an awful lot of guys, 3 that have scored.
And brings up Puig. Yasiel walked himself, and as you mentioned, all those walks have scored. So walk and a run for Yasiel today. Strike 1. Puig with 6 home runs. He's tied with Bellinger for the team lead, but all 6 of them have come at home, which is a little bit backwards considering the home run ballparks in this division, and Dodger Stadium not one of them. Back-to-back cutters, back-to-back strikes.
Yasiel a little frustrated. He's not been doing his job lately as far as executing, and there thinks the umpire didn't execute.
Takes this one, ball 1. The Dodgers getting to a guy in Chatwood who a year ago at Dodger Stadium, all his friends and family there from Redlands watching him, 1 hit over 8 innings. Couldn't touch him. Strike 3. 3 cutters for the 3 strikes. Puig pleading his case with Adam Hamari.
Yeah, he got it. He got it right. Dave Roberts quickly gets out there to rescue Yasiel.
That's 5 punch outs for Chatwood. And now Kershaw. Bunted his first time, but it was right back to the mound. Chatwood came home with it. Then they tagged Chase Utley at the plate. This bunt rolls foul.
Practice your bunting every day if you're a starting pitcher. You know you're going to be called on maybe 2, maybe 3 at bats. Who knows, depending on how deep you go into the game. And these pitchers, they get every bunt down like just perfectly, but you're not bunting off a big leaguer that might throw you 3 different pitches.
Swings away, and that one's through for a base hit. Utley's on his way to third on a single from Kershaw. Why bunt when he can just get base hits?
Nice little chop swing right here. Just ball's about to jam him, but he pulls his arms in really quick as we take a look at the Volkswagen replay. Clayton Kershaw with a good short compact swing, just pulling those hands in and getting the barrel to the ball and getting about 6 hops to find the hole.
Kershaw's average above 200 this year. First and third, 1 gone for Jock Peterson, who's looked good all day today. Ball 1. Talked about his BP, and since then a single in the first and an RBI double in the second. When Jock is locked in, there is a different sound to the crack of the bat. Two and 0. His double, the exit velocity was 113 miles per hour. 95 is considered hard hit. I believe that 113 may be his hardest hit ball of the year. It's another hard hit, but in the wrong spot. It's a tailor-made double play. 4-6-3 to finish the Dodgers off in the 4th, down to the bottom half with a 5-1 lead.
Peterson pays a visit to the Los Angeles Rams facility. Plus, Aegon and Dave Roberts bring baseball to Dubai with an off-season kids clinic. Don't miss Backstage Dodgers presented by Hankook Tires Thursday at 5:30 on Sportsnet LA.
Jock was a star high school receiver. He tweeted at the Rams asking for a tryout just for the heck of it last fall. And eventually went and spent some time at practice, caught some passes from Jared Goff. He said his high school comparison is Jordy Nelson. Packers wide out.
Jordy Nelson gets hit hard. Jock Peterson only hits the ground or the wall hard every once in a while.
Mark Reynolds to lead off this fourth inning for the Rockies against Kershaw. Middle third of the order in a 5-1 game. Kershaw only 2 strikeouts through 3. Rockies getting a run on 5 hits. That's strike 1. Reynolds grounded out his first time and is now 5 for 29 in his career against Clayton. One and one. 7 teams and 11 seasons. Definition of a journeyman. Arizona, Baltimore, Cleveland, New York, Milwaukee, St. Louis, Colorado. 1 and 2.
He was out early today with his manager Bud Black. They had the jugs machine on the mound set up for left-handed cutters and sliders. Bud was feeding the machine to Mark Reynolds to try and get him to get a read on the spin of a Kershaw slider.
The machine was filthy.
It sure was. He was hitting a lot of balls off the end of the bat and dribbling them to third. Kind of like his first ground ball to Justin Turner in the first at bat.
A 2-2. Second one that slipped out of Kershaw's hand in this AB.
We've seen one curveball where he's got in the vicinity. The other 3 have kind of popped out.
He walks in to start the inning. First Kershaw walk after he issued 4 of them against San Diego in his last outing. That was the most in 2 years. And a 1-out base runner for Ian Desmond. Big bouncer back in front of the mound. Kershaw will turn and throw him out. Up to second goes Reynolds. 1 gone.
Kershaw and Yasmani out there discussing a little strategy. Carlos Gonzalez, they snuck some fastballs by him in, and they went cutter or slider away that he ended up hitting the ball over Jock's head in center field. Yasmani probably just wanting to see what he wants to start him out with.
His fastball misses.
That was interesting. They had a meeting, put the sign down, and then Clayton looked at him like, is that what we decided on?
One of them forgot. Over the fastball again. This one's in for a strike. It's 1-1. Facing the 31-year-old Gonzalez, who's in his 9th year here with the Rockies, but in the final year of his deal. Up the middle, base hit. Reynolds will score on a single from Carlos Gonzalez, and the Rockies chip away a little bit more, 5-2.
Gonzalez just hitting a tick above 200 against Clayton, has double and a single now today. Clayton kind of disgusted with the results right there.
So walk, a ground out, and a base hit here in the 4th. On a 5-2 game as Pat Valaika comes up. Rockies out hitting the Dodgers in this game. They have 6. Off of the hands and off of the glove of Seager. Gonzalez will head to 3rd, and the Rockies have them cornered with 1 gone.
This ball is one that Corey Seager will tell you that he probably should have had. It's not an easy play, it's not routine, but just a little one-hopper backhand. And because it gets deflected by Corey, all of a sudden you got 1st and 3rd, 1 out, and they did call that here. The official score called that E6.
You surprised with it being the hometown scorer and a hometown hitter?
A little bit.
Yeah, me too.
Borderline.
So Garneau was up there with a runner at 3rd his first time up, and Kershaw struck him out. Coming inside with the first one and getting strike 1. Didn't hit his spot, but found the zone. Garneau with a strikeout in the 2nd is now 0 for 8 with 6 Ks against Clayton. Southern California, played his college ball there, went to Cal State Fullerton. That one gets by. Runner takes off for 2nd, and Valaika's in there safely.
Dodgers kind of having a little meeting out there by Clayton Kershaw, thinking maybe he came off the bag. Chris Taylor held the tag on him right here. Chase Utley from 1st is the one that really makes the first gesture like something might be up. Take a look right here. Oh, the right foot and not the left hand. Right foot comes off right about now.
Yep.
He's going to be out. You get the right angle in New York. Oh yeah, he's out.
That's a big out.
Yeah, it's huge. Gonzalez didn't move up on the ball that they were trying to move up to 2nd on, so they caught a break that he didn't break from 3rd. They might catch a break right here where the replay catches him coming off the bag.
Didn't take long. Out number 2.
It really hurts with Gonzalez not moving up from 3rd now with the throw from behind home plate.
So instead of 2nd and 3rd with 1 out, runner at 3rd with 2 out for Garneau. Kershaw pounded him in with sliders his first time. Here on 1-1, coming back inside and getting strike 2.
We're so used to Clayton hitting his lanes. You know, when Yasmani moves in, he gets it in there on the corner or off the plate. When he goes away, he's been really on that arm side lane, pretty precise. But today he's really just barely getting at the halves of the plate.
The 1-2. A pop up into right for Puig. And Gonzalez stranded at third. Rockies do get one here in the fourth, but that's all. And we go to the fifth in a 5-2 game. LA is brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Toyota time is going on now. Get incredible deals on a fuel-efficient RAV4 hybrid. The Alex Cora at-bat was on May 12th in 2004 when he fouled off remarkably 14 consecutive pitches against the Cubs' Matt Clement before on the 18th pitch of the AB hitting a home run. Dave Roberts cheering him on from the dugout. And Dave was one of the first to greet him when he got back to the dugout after this home run. Gave him a little bow. Career high 10 homers that year for Cora, who is now the bench coach for the Houston Astros. Team that leads the majors in wins right now. The only team with more wins than these Rockies. Corey Seager leads off the fifth and takes ball one from Tyler Chatwood. So 5-run second for the Dodgers. But unable to take advantage of an opportunity last inning. And they had two on. It's 1-1. In this ballpark, as we saw last night, with the Rockies' 10-0 lead almost disappearing. You don't want to miss too many of those opportunities to tack on. 2-1.
Jock Peterson hitting into the inning-ending double play. But I'll tell you what, he scorched that ball again.
Seager starts the inning with a base hit to center. It's Corey's second hit of the day. You even said to me before the game, I got a feeling today's the day Corey's going to get headed in the right direction again.
In some ways, you can watch a hitter, and a guy as talented as Corey, you can watch him almost hit rock bottom, and it's like, okay, enough is enough. And during batting practice today, just watching his mannerisms, he just looked like, I'm finished with this slump. I'm ready to go.
Now, quietly, a similar thing developing with Turner, who hit above 400 in April, but is hitting below 230 so far in May. He fouls this one off his leg, strike one. I think you can say the same thing about him that you said about Seager, and that is you don't expect those to go too long before they get it turned around.
Yeah, they usually know their swings very well and know where they're struggling, but just can't execute it. That right there will change your balance and your power, fouling it off your leg. And you mentioned it yesterday how he's an easy bruiser. Turner, Ward, and Yasiel grinding on his slump right now.
Good stop by Garneau on ball one on Turner.
I think the ball caught him.
Yeah, I give him too much credit there.
Well, he got out there, but he's even surprised. Look at, oh, whoa, I got it. Oh, yeah, there it is.
Yeah, he didn't play it off real smoothly.
And the whole mask thing looked like a guy who's just starting to catch, like a little leaguer.
Right.
Like, what's this thing? What, I got this on my face here.
Low strike, 1-2.
He caught that ball. He didn't look like a first-time catcher back there. He caught that ball in a way to make it look like it was higher than it was. Some strong hands and good glove position right there.
Two and two. Garneau followed Turner at Cal State Fullerton. Came in right after Turner finished his career there. Seager at first with nobody out, and a 2-2 pitch in the dirt, full count.
They started Jock Peterson when Justin was up with a 3-2 count in at bat. We'll see if they start Corey Seager.
He does run. Turner chops it foul.
You got to keep your pulse at a normal level when you're Justin Turner and you know the runner is running. He's very good at doing that with runners in scoring position. It's a little new and different. You don't always hit with a man on first and a 3-2 count and know that guy's breaking over there. You stay focused. Don't come out of your swing. Corey's running and Justin can hit a gap. This is a big outfield. Probably would score if he splits them.
Strikes out swinging on a high fastball.
Corey not going on this one, fortunately for the Dodgers. Justin chasing a high fastball.
You mentioned the square footage of the outfield here. Bud Black's coming out. Looks like he's going to take it from Chatwood. You hear about the way the ball flies here, but that's not the only part of the equation that leads to all the runs. The other part is it's the biggest outfield by square footage in all of baseball. And you get the opposite of the home runs, and that is balls falling in front of outfielders a lot. Into the bullpen, Chris Russin comes in a 5-2 game in the fifth. Five-game weekend plan starting at only $20 a ticket. If the Dodgers win all 5 of the games that you hand-picked, you'll win 2 tickets to Fan Appreciation Day in September and get recognized in a group photo on the field. For more information, go to Dodgers.com/mini-plans. What a gorgeous night here in Denver. It's even a little prettier when you glance at the scoreboard. See the Dodgers up 5-2 and into the Rockies bullpen here in the 5th with Chris Russin.
Going to come at you with a fastball and a slider and a cutter mostly, and that'll be a little easier for Cody Bellinger when he hasn't ever faced him. Doesn't have to worry about a curveball as much.
Facing Cody Bellinger and checking on Corey Seager.
Anywhere from 83 miles an hour to about 91, 92. Cody's got to be ready for. Probably going to be breaking away from him, but only a small amount.
Strike one. Russin, 30 years old. He's from Detroit, Michigan. Played his college ball at Kentucky. Originally drafted by the Cubs. Brings in 0-1. And it's ball one on Bellinger. Russin debuted with the Cubs for 3 years, 2012 through 2014, before he came over to the Rockies a few years back. Claimed off waivers. Seager at first with one away, and a 1-1 pitch to Cody Bellinger. That's a strike.
Cody a little frustrated with himself right there. Got a fast one right near the center of the plate. Didn't pull the trigger.
Two and two. So 16 games in now, and I don't know if we've necessarily seen anybody expose any huge flaws. Is that a long time for a guy to go without any big flaws being exposed?
I don't think it's a long time, but I think that Cody has made some adjustments. We've seen him use the left field line. We've seen him shorten up now when he gets in situations where he needs to put the ball in play. We've seen the big swings too.
One of them there, down swinging.
Not a spinner, but it's got a nice little hard break there away from him. Looked like he was just pulling off a little early.
And you saw him shaking his head there. He was watching the replay on the stadium video board. Didn't like what he saw. Seager started this inning with a single. He's still latched to first as Grandal comes up with two gone. Strike one, but it goes by Garneau, and Seager moves into scoring position.
It's just a flat out clank by Garneau. He tries to chase that ball with his glove. Turned the wrong way. With the little meeting with Russin, it could have been with the signs with man on second, or it could have been the fact that there was a little cross up. Official score called it a pass ball.
1-1.
Fans are kind of quiet here.
I was just thinking that. I mean, I know it's 5-2, but
that's why they're not making any noise. They're making faces.
Yeah. I was expecting a little more of a buzz here with how their season's going at 23-13, and with a 4-time defending champ in town. Clayton Kershaw starting tonight. It's not that they've been bad environments, but not quite as much of a buzz as I'd expect for a team in this situation.
Do the fans know that the Rockies have never had a above 500 April and May in the same year? Maybe they're just sitting back waiting for the collapse already.
They've had the worst record in the National League the last 6 years combined. Lost at least 87 games in all 6 of those seasons. The closest they've been to first at the end of the year during that stretch, -16. franchise opened in '93. They've been to the postseason 3 times. Only 6 winning seasons. Here's a 2-1. Randolph fouls it off, and we go down to Alana.
Guys, just in relation to what you were talking about with the fans here, I think they're hesitant to get too incredibly excited as they have the 2-strike noise right now. This is a team that, you know, hasn't done much as far as postseason play or really any sort of push in the last several years. Having covered them for 5 seasons and going to the playoffs twice when I was here, the fans are a bit hesitant. It's still early in May, naturally, and even speaking to radio folks and TV folks on the Rockies side, you know, they always ask us on this side, what do you guys think about the Rockies? Do you think they truly are an improved team?
Grandal lines to center, and Blackmon takes it away. Diving play by Charlie Blackmon brings his crowd to its feet, gives them something to cheer about. We're halfway home in a 5-2 game.
Picking up on a couple of the key plays, the double plays the Dodgers turned to help Clayton Kershaw to get out of a couple of innings. And then the Rockies, when the ball gets away here, this was very much a key play. Gonzalez doesn't break from third, but Taylor keeps the glove on and gets the out. That turned that inning around for the Dodgers.
And with the sun setting, we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Clayton Kershaw back out there. So the defense not particularly sharp around him, but some well-timed key plays for the defense.
You think about the ball in center that got over Jock's head. You think about the error at short from Corey on the little humpback line drive backhand. And they've come through when they've needed to, but there have been a couple that have put Clayton in the hole.
Misses with his first pitch to Chris Russin, the Rockies reliever, batting for himself here. He's a former starter, so he has plenty of experience hitting. 1-1. Kershaw only 2 punch-outs through 4. He's walked 1. Rockies getting those 2 runs off 6 hits. Bounce past the mound to second. Chris Taylor circles in front of it and gets him by a half step. So Russin runs pretty well. Taylor able to get him. They'll no doubt check the video on this, see if they want to challenge.
Chase Utley, not your typical first baseman as far as height or dexterity over there, but Chris Taylor does a nice job getting it over there as quick as possible on this tough hop. Ground's a little harder here in the Mile High City. The water doesn't stay in the dirt very long, so you get some rough hops here and there, and Chase just tall enough.
Charlie Blackmon at the top of the order. went around, strike one. Scored the Rockies' first run tonight when he tripled in the third and came in on the LeMahieu single. Say that he's a very deep thinker when it comes to hitting. Known for spending hours and hours breaking down film of his swing and taking a lot of extra swings in the cage. Here's an 0-1. And he takes ball one. I thought this was interesting. I asked him for his philosophy on feeling good. And he said feeling good at the plate, in his opinion, is just the absence of feeling something bad.
Okay.
Yeah. Little bloop, short left, that's in, base hit. Anything to that?
I guess if you've had a lot of reps and you know when it feels right, instead of using the word good, that you don't let other things creep in, that if you don't make that perfect swing or that perfect practice swing the time before, that you can erase that and just feel. And I don't know where he's at with that. I want it to feel good. I wanted to feel the rhythm. I wanted to feel the strength. I wanted to feel the extension, and I want to feel the ball and see the ball go exactly where, for me as a pitcher, it's intended to go.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, the guy that's up now, DJ LeMahieu, is one of his best friends, and he says he can't talk hitting with him. Strike one, just because he's, he's on his own level as far as the way he thinks about it. And DJ's a hitting savant himself. We talked about Nolan Arenado's career turnaround, not necessarily a turnaround, but when he really vaulted himself among the best hitters in the game, that came from a change in approach, a change in thought. Same thing for DJ LeMahieu. Made his biggest strides when he stopped trying to hit for power. Said just because I'm 6'4", a lot of times I was put into the mold of being a power hitter and bought into that. But he ditched that mindset and had the #1 contact percentage in the majors last year and winning a batting title. The #1 opposite field percentage in the majors. Lines it the other way into a double play. The third double play turn by the Dodgers tonight. On to the 6th in a 5-2 game.
Stadium be the first 40,000 fans in attendance on Saturday, May 20th at 7:10 p.m. when the Dodgers face the Marlins and receive a Dodger branded pullover courtesy of Coca-Cola. The quarterfront zip makes it easy to place over your head when the sun sets and the chill begins. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Ball one on Chris Taylor. Starting off this 6th inning, Dodgers getting 5 in the 2nd. Rockies getting single runs in the 3rd and in the 4th tonight. Taylor looks at a strike. 0 for 1. Walked and scored in that 5-run 2nd and then struck out in the 3rd. Bottom of the zone, strike 2. This has fallen into a little bit of a slump. 2 for his last 14. A quick pitch, and he lifts it to right center. Carlos Gonzalez for the first out of the 6th. And Scott Van Slyke will pinch hit for Chase Utley with the left-hander now on the mound for Colorado. Van Slyke with a pinch hit home run last night as Dave Roberts continues to press the right buttons as far as calling on pinch hitters. Dodgers are hitting .353 off of the bench. Only the Cardinals better in baseball. Ball 1.
Worked really hard on a swing in the cage yesterday before the game and during batting practice, and it paid off. Golf that out of here.
He's ahead of Russ in 2-0. Two and 1. Good chance Van Slyke gets a start tomorrow. Put the left-hander on the mound, and Tyler Anderson against Alex Wood of the Dodgers. It's a 5:10 start time in LA. And on Sunday, 12:10 Los Angeles time as Julio Urias faces Antonio Senzatella. 2-2. We were looking at the rookie leaderboards today. Senzatella and Cody Bellinger, if you could give a Rookie of the Year away right now, would be probably battling for that spot.
Yeah, and I think Cody Bellinger really has a leg up as far as.
It's a high drive to left, but that'll hang in the yard for Desmond. Go ahead.
With the injury to Toles, he's got all of a sudden he's got a chance to really put up some numbers. With the chance to play in first base, left field. Left field could end up being his job for the rest of the year.
Dave Roberts said today that Adrian Gonzalez expects to begin a rehab assignment within the next couple of weeks.
When we looked at the leaderboard on the rookie stuff too, Andrew Toles was there in a lot of categories. You know, top 5, top 7, where Cody's at the top as far as average home runs and RBIs.
1 ball and no strikes on Puig. I was surprised that Toles hadn't exhausted his rookie eligibility yet.
Yeah. I don't know the specific rule on that. I have to look that up.
A 2-0. 3 balls and no strikes. Three and 1. We green lighted on 3-0.
Cody Bellinger got an earlier 3-0 green light, and then on 3-1 faked the bunt and took a walk. Yasiel, Dave Roberts trying to get him a cripple pitch to get him out of his slump.
Coming inside with a 3-1, and Puig popping in foul, 3-2. Line to left. On comes Desmond. Still coming. Lays out. Won't get it. And the Wild Horse takes off running. His mindset on 3. Here's the relay. He will get tagged down. So tried to stretch a double into a triple. Desmond to Valaika to Arenado to finish the inning.
Ball drops in right there, and it gets away. Desmond watching Puig over his shoulder break, gets it to the cutoff man, and Yasiel gets thrown out at third. Chris Woodward telling him to get down, but the ball beat him.
LA is brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop ChooseNissan.com. And by Energy Upgrade California. Back in Denver, where the Dodgers have a 5-2 lead out of the sixth, as the Dodgers try to even this series at a game apiece. And Clayton Kershaw, having thrown just 65 pitches, is back out there. It's not been at his very best. 2 runs allowed on 7 hits. Bit of a different defense behind him. Scott Van Slyke, after pinch hitting, is in left, and Cody Bellinger moves to first. So Chase Utley's day is finished. Here's Arenado, and there is strike one.
For a guy who's really owned Kershaw as far as somebody who has had success, Kershaw has had his number here today.
Fly ball to right. Puig hardly moves. Now goes back, reaches up, and makes the catch. And one of these times his nonchalantness is going to cost him, and that will not be a happy man if it does. He's had this one take off on him.
He's kind of in between right here, the reverse of he shouldn't have went for third when he's already in scoring position with 2 outs, and maybe should have ran a little harder after that one right there.
Maybe pick your spots better with pitchers on the mound.
Make sure you catch it for everybody.
But especially him. Here's Mark Reynolds. Ball 1. I get nervous for the fielders when Kershaw's pitching, because I know how much he expects of them and how high a standards the fielders hold themselves to when he's on the mound. High fly ball to center. Skyscraper that'll tumble down to Peterson for out number 2.
Let's take a look at the Morongo Casino slow-mo cam. I'll tell you what, Clayton Kershaw showing emotions throughout this year, from leaning, is that fair or foul, to, oh, catch it please. And then a couple of double plays behind him, a couple of things that sneak through, but he is emotionally engaged and in tune with what's going on, and we just saw it also with the Yasiel Puig play in right.
Looking for his first true 1-2-3 inning of the game. Ian Desmond taking a strike. Desmond 1 for 2, had an infield single his first time, and he is now 4 for 31 against Kershaw in his career. Before tonight, that was all with Washington. Clayton's 0-1. Painted for strike 2.
I would say that that's the one pitch this year that he has really added. He didn't like to go out there very much, and the fact that his slider isn't as good as it used to be right now, he's still honing that in. But that pitch away to righties rescues him.
Softly hit the short. Seager has a waist-high bounce, and Kershaw has a 1-2-3 inning on 8 pitches with a 5-2 lead as we move to the 7th.
At a select few games on KTLA. Time now for the T-Mobile Unlimited baseball break, and that one of those games was when the game was postponed against the Padres just a couple of days ago, about a week ago at this point. Spectrum Sportsnet LA and KTLA will simulcast another game to make up that game, guys. That one is going to be coming up in May.
All right, on Sunday against the Marlins, as Kershaw grounds out on the first pitch here in the 7th against Russin. Part of a 10-game homestand. Dodgers will play 4 against the Marlins, then 3 against the Cardinals, and 3 against the Cubs after they complete this series, and then go to San Francisco for a few. With one gone, it's Jock Peterson. Bounced into a double play his last time, but he's hit it hard all 3 times tonight. One of his hardest hit balls of the year on a double back in the 2nd. The lefty on the mound, the face guard on for Jock. Takes a strike.
Jock took his time getting into the batter's box to give Clayton Kershaw some time to get back to the bench and towel off and sit down and start resting. Pretty much guaranteed when a hitter does that, a lot of times they're going to take the first pitch.
So I talked about that double being a hard hit. The double play was actually hit harder. Fouls this one off. The double was at 113. The double play was 114.
And hard hit is considered 95 and above?
Yeah.
Those balls are blistered. That's the way he was hitting in BP. He said he's been hot all day, right from first swings in the cage.
Down 0-2 here. They want it up. They get it there for ball 1. Down swinging, 2 out.
Single, double, a hard hit double play, and now one that doesn't make contact on. A very good day so far for Jock. We'll be always disappointed in that.
Good day for Corey as well. 2 hits, 2-run double in the second, and a single in the 5th. Russin quickly comes home, and Seager turns on one, flies it to right. Gonzalez at the edge of the track puts an end to the Dodgers' 7th. They go 1-2-3. Stretch time in Denver. By Morongo Casino. Clayton Kershaw pitching into the 7th. Hasn't had his best stuff tonight, but he's been effective. Chase Utley has stayed hot. Started the scoring with a 2-run triple. As part of that 5-run inning. Corey Seager has contributed. He had a 2-run double himself that came in that same inning as the Dodgers try to tie this series up after dropping the opener 10-7 last night.
Clayton Kershaw looking to become a 20-game winner, and you say, well, 20 games against the Colorado Rockies, tied with Randy Johnson right now with 19 as all-time leaders, beating the Rockies. Win tonight, he'll be the only one with 20.
Carlos Gonzalez to lead off the Rocky half of the 7th. Been a good series for him. Another 2-hit night tonight. Kershaw starts him with a fastball strike. But half those starts coming in this ballpark. Unkind to pitchers, but Kershaw still solid here. And ahead of Gonzalez 0-2. Gave up the 4 runs in his first start here this year. The long ball doomed him in that one. He's kept it in the yard in this one. Going outside on 0-2. And finishing off Gonzalez in short order.
That was the best 3 pitches I've seen him throw tonight, and this was a slider all the way down to 83 miles an hour. So took some speed off that, made an adjustment, it broke bigger and got him out front.
That's 6 miles per hour slower than that slider's average this year. It's even a few miles per hour slower than when it was at its slowest, because it's gotten progressively harder as his career's gone on. Never before, though, in the 89 range like it is this year. Pat Valleca swings and misses at 88 on a slider, strike 1. Where do you think it's at its best? What range? I think we're agreeing 89 is probably too firm for it to be at its best.
Wherever he thinks it is.
Fair enough.
But for me, I would love to see it off of his 94-mile-an-hour fastball. I'd love to see it 7 to 9 miles an hour. But you know, I could live with 5 to 7, but when it's only 2 or 3, 4 miles an hour, I don't know. I think he made the adjustment right there on his own. And I think because Cargo got a hit on a 2-strike slider earlier in the game that was at about 89, and he had enough bat to hit the line drive, I think Clayton said, I'm going to take a little off. I do not think that was fatigue because of a 78th pitch count or whatever it was at that time. I think it was totally like he just made an in-game adjustment.
Three Ks, 1 walk, 7 hits, but only 80 pitches through 6 1/3. And a 1-2 to Pat Valaika. Pop back foul. We'll do it again. Dodgers trying to take down a team with a winning record. They're 6-10 against teams that are 500 or better this year. 14-5 against teams below 500. A 1-2 again. And it sweeps in for strike 3. Back-to-back Ks to open the 7th for Kershaw.
Be interesting to see what PitchCast says about this one. The Rocky bench thinks it's way high. Drops in right on the top of the zone.
Gonzalez with a slider, gets Valaika with a curve, and now Garneau to the plate. Hitless in 2 tries tonight. Strike 1. Ugly swing on a slider at 87.
That really tied him up, and boy, you're right. It broke a good 6-8 inches more, just taking it down a couple miles an hour.
Spikes this one. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Valaika and Garneau hit back in the second inning with 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. Ended up being strikeout victims there. That was where Clayton really set the tone for the evening.
Curve gently hit in front of the plate. Grandal's got it. 7 innings for Kershaw. Probably his sharpest yet right there. On to the 8th in a 5-2 game. Here plays of the game brought to you by Arco and Clayton Kershaw. Only had 4 Ks tonight, but effective once again.
You know what? He's gotten better and better as the game goes on. curveballs that have actually started to break in there. They were slipping out earlier in the game. You know, as Monty picked him up right there, and he's getting handshakes all around. So his night is done, and he's got a chance to get another W to go lead the league with 6.
Isn't it amazing, though? I mean, we spent much of the night trying to pinpoint what hasn't been exactly right for him. Yet here's another stellar outing, 7 innings, 2 runs allowed, putting his team in position to beat the first place team.
His ERA and his losses like over 5. His ERA and his wins has been down about 1.5. And again, he goes 7 and gives up 2 or less in the wins.
Jake McGee's in the game for the Rockies. 3, 4, and 5 for the Dodgers. It sure would be nice to have them add on here. Ballpark where you never know what can happen. That's ball 1. Justin 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts. Two and 0. Well placed from McGee, 2 and 1. Surprised he's finished at 85?
A little bit. Even more surprised he didn't battle to stay in there.
Bouncing ball to short. Picked up by Valleca. Big a turn.
118 pitches his last start, so they're probably just looking at the total workload and saying this is a good time to get him out. Because of Dave Roberts' patience yesterday with Ryu, the bullpen has still got a lot of bullets down there.
Baez and Avilan in the Dodger bullpen. Bellinger's 0 for 2. Walked and scored his first time. Turns on one. A fly ball to right. Gonzalez back. Turns around, and there it goes. Cody Bellinger racks up another bomb. It's his 7th. His first of what I bet will be a few in this ballpark over the years.
First pitch hacking off a guy he's never seen before. Couple strikeouts and a walk today, but decides this one I'm not going to miss this one, and he doesn't. Carlos Gonzalez in right field kind of fakes us out, acts like he might catch this. Look at him looking like he's getting, oh no, I guess not. Leads all rookies in home runs, leads all rookies in RBIs, leads all rookies in batting average.
Leads all players in home runs since his debut. Ball 1 on Grandal. And off a left-handed pitcher in Jake McGee. He's saying the same thing we are, which is, what's Gonzalez doing on that? He may have even juked Cody, had him second guessing how hard he hit it.
Pranking the rookie. It's like, I didn't think I got it, or I thought I got it, but he was showing me like I didn't get it.
He said, I was like, what?
I crushed that ball.
Grandal slashes one into left center. That's a bullet of a base hit into the gap. And he's got a double following Grandal's homer, or following Bellinger's homer.
Grandal sees a few of these Rocky pitchers real well, hitting 250 off McGee with a home run, 1 for 4, and now here the double. Now he's hitting 400 off of him.
Boy, that one run off of the homer makes this game have an entirely different feel. One swing can't beat you. Another run wouldn't hurt. One swing couldn't tie it in that case. Strike one on Chris Taylor.
It was a very important game today for the Dodgers. I know it's not finished. The bullpen's coming in. 6 more outs for the Rockies to catch up. Just a really important game, getting in late, losing yesterday. Rockies trying to really establish themselves as somebody's going to be in the race all year. Clayton Kershaw trying to stop a 1-game losing streak. If the Rockies would have beat Clayton today, it would have been like really boosting their confidence. We're reading a lot about their comments in the paper, especially Ian Desmond saying, you know, I feel good things around here. I think it's going to be a really fun summer. Some confidence brewing over there on the Rockies side that need to be tempered a little bit.
Coming inside on Taylor with an 0-2 and striking him out. 2 gone. Rockies 10 games above 500 for the first time in 7 years entering this game. With a 2.5 game lead in the division. Dodgers 6 outs away from closing that back to a 1.5 games, which is where this series began.
Still with a chance to leave Denver in first place. They win this one. Then take 2 more.
Scott Van Slyke, strike one. And don't you feel good right now with Alex Wood and Julio Urias taking the ball in those 2 games?
You really do. Both have been locked in. Both have been very competitive. Alex Wood threw the ball outstanding his last outing, and Julio Urias flirted with a no-hitter for a while.
One and one. It's like flight out to left his first time on. That was on for Chase Utley in the 6th. When the Rockies went to the bullpen, had a left-hander and Russin in there. Gets under this one. He hopes that it'll reach the seats, and it does. 1-2.
Since the 4th inning, the Dodgers really haven't had anybody in scoring position. This is the first one. Grandal. Puig got the 2-out double, but got thrown out at 3rd. Gets credit for the double. Cody Bellinger was in scoring position when he was in the batter's box, but that doesn't count.
Yeah, always is. That's what Dave Roberts says. Every time he swings the bat, you think something exciting can happen. 7 homers in 16 games. What's that pace?
A lot.
70.
Yep.
For a full season. That's pretty good. It's amazing, though, to think about the seasons in the home run era with McGuire and Bonds and Sosa, where they actually reach totals like that, and seeing it in a smaller sample like this.
How often it has to happen in a small sample to get to those numbers through the year.
Exactly.
It's averaging more than 10 home runs a month.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Van Slyke, whose dad played with Barry Bonds in Pittsburgh. Andy Van Slyke. His dad played in the bigs as well, Clay Bellinger. Grandal at second with 2 away. Dodgers in front 6-2. And McGee to the plate with a 2-2 offering. And Slyke lifts one to right center field. Gonzalez under it, inning over. But Cody Bellinger takes off again. His 7th home run of the season. The kid leads the team in long balls, and he's only been here for a few minutes.
relief, officially making it Clayton Kershaw's outing in the books. Coming up next, Access Sportsnet Dodgers, brought to you by Nissan. John, Ned, and Jerry break this one down. Another brilliant performance from Clayton Kershaw. 7 innings, just giving up the 2 earned runs. Of course, we'll talk about the Dodgers offense giving him a nice cushion. Now the stands 89-0 when at least 4 runs of support, gentlemen.
All right, Alana, you said it. There he is, Luis Avilan in the game, replacing Kershaw, trying to hang on to this 6-2 lead to even this series up.
Luis Avilan has had outstanding location this year, and especially with his fastball, mixing in his breaking ball and his devastating changeup. We see his higher leverage situations growing and growing, where all of a sudden more and more confidence that he can pitch no matter what the situation, but especially in the tight games.
Raimel Tapia hitting here. Just caught up from AAA today for his 2nd stint, looking for his 1st hit of the year. One of their top prospects, hitting .400 at AAA so far. Avilan misses in with the first one. There's a strike, 1-1. Two balls, 1 strike.
Get that insurance run from Bellinger, get out there on the mound, come in from the bullpen. The ace is the one that started this game, and it would be his W. Feel very responsible when you're a reliever in these situations to finish it off.
Falling behind Tapia, 3-1. Last thing you want to do with this 4-run cushion. Give him a reason to believe it'll walk to open this inning.
Osmani out there trying to coax him into the strike zone. Didn't mind a visit in the middle of a count if you thought a pitcher had 0 rhythm at all. If he was just missing and just needs to make an adjustment, the catcher can make that with a target by getting his glove more on the plate. But when you're all over the place, it might be time to reboot.
And he walks him to start the 8th. Take a look at the Dodger calendar, brought to you by 76. 2 more coming in this series. Wood on Saturday, Urias on Sunday, then on to San Francisco for 3 with the Giants. As Dodgers trying to finish San Francisco out. We gave you those numbers a moment ago. They're 14-5 against teams with losing records. 4 of those 5 losses are to the Giants.
The rivalry will get reignited again.
Giants have the worst record in baseball at 12-24. 4 of their 12 wins coming against the Dodgers. It's a strike on Blackmon.
Blackmon showing bunt, 1 for 8 in his career off of Avilan, so he's looking to any way to get down by 4.
Blackmon, a former pitcher himself. In fact, 2 different teams drafted him as a pitcher, 2 separate occasions. Out of high school, the Marlins drafted him. Decided to go to Georgia Tech instead. The Red Sox drafted him there early on, but he decided to stay and then dealt with arm problems. So moved to the outfield. Tapia at first with nobody out, and an 0-2 to Charlie Blackmon. Digs it out and do it again. During his junior year, he's taken batting practice with the rest of the pitchers at Georgia Tech. One of the coaches saw his swing and said, man, I'm watching the hit here. You might want to give this a look. The pitching thing's not working as well because of the arm problem. They came up with a plan to send him to the collegiate summer leagues to give outfield a try for the first time for him since he was in high school. And 1 year later, he was a second-round pick as an outfielder. Debuted in the majors 2 years after he was drafted. Now in his 7th season. Hiding all kinds of secrets in that beard.
Only as Gardner knows.
Ball one. As of last year, and I don't know if there's an update on this, but as of last year, and this was when Blackmon was in his 6th major league season, he was still driving his 2004 Jeep Laredo that his parents got him when he was in high school. Making $7.3 million this year.
So you're saying he's tight.
A little frugal.
Yeah.
Avilan gets him with that changeup. 1 out.
Changeup disappears to right-handers and left-handers. Such good arm speed with the pitch.
And now with 4 consecutive right-handers coming up, Dave Roberts will call on Pedro Baez, matching things up to try and finish this one off.
LA is brought to you by BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers, or visit SoCalBMW.com. And by Jack in the Box. Come try the new guacamole and bacon chicken sandwich only at Jack in the Box.
Pedro Baez comes on. The 2 home runs have accounted for the 2 runs that he's allowed this year. Pitching with a man at first and 1 gone and a 6-2 lead in the 8th.
Pedro's velocity has been close to 100 at times this year, but that's not the most impressive thing. His secondary stuff is really starting to come along. The breaking ball and the changeup, he's got more confidence in it, and it's definitely a pitch he can execute more consistently.
DJ LeMahieu. You can see why Dave Roberts went to the right-hander for him. Also, LeMahieu's 0 for 5 against Baez. Vandal asks for an elevated fastball and gets it. Ball 1. Two singles against Kershaw for LeMahieu. 2-0. Grandal out for a visit with Baez, visibly frustrated after 2 pitches.
Get him down in the strike zone. You can't go up the ladder unless you start on the first rung down by the bottom and get a strike. Pedro coming in with a little adrenaline, just overthrowing those first 2.
Against David John, LeMahieu started going by DJ when he first started playing baseball, because his dad thought David John was too hard to yell when he was up there batting. Too long to be a good baseball name. Shortened it to DJ. A 2-0 to DJ. Strike 1.
If you're Pedro Baez, you're saying thank you, DJ. This is ball 3. Fans were starting to get into it a little bit. Got off. They were sitting on their hands. One time we've heard them cheer tonight is when the scoreboard's kind of instructed them to.
Now a 2-1 from Baez, and LeMahieu fouls it back. He's back in it at 2-2. Talked about LeMahieu last time being 6'4", but early in his career trying to hit for power because of it. Learning to try and be a contact guy. He's rare in that he's a second baseman at 6'4". That makes him the tallest full-time second baseman in Major League Baseball history. Tapia, a good lead at first. Baez checks up. There's a guy that played for the Giants back in the 1920s named High Pockets Kelly. He stood at 6'4", played 1 year of second base, but a Hall of Fame first baseman. So as far as full-time second baseman, High Pockets LeMahieu's your guy. Now the 2-2. And Baez comes back to get it. After falling behind 2-0, all hard stuff, 2 out.
All the other high pitches ended up balls, or LeMahieu swung at it. This one is right at the top of the strike zone. He expects it to tail up, almost like a breaking ball, thinking about it walking him off the plate. Well, that fastball he thought was going to continue up stayed right there at the top of the strike zone.
Baez can breathe a bit of a sigh of relief in that he has to face Arenado with 1 on instead of 2 on in this 6-2 game. Mullins 0 for 3. Kershaw induced a pair of double plays against him, and then he lined out to right. Guy that grew up a diehard Dodger fan in Southern California. Takes a strike.
Good reaction from the crowd on this one, but Nolan pulling his head out of the way. That ball wasn't even close. He just knew he wasn't swinging.
How about the tempo from Pedro? Here he comes with a 1-1. 2-1.
Time in between pitches for Pedro would just shorten immensely if he just agree with the first sign that he saw from Yasmani.
He does here. It was a slider or a change, and fouled off 2-2.
Mixing his pitch as well. He went slider, fastball, fastball. That's the changeup, I think. Unless it was the slider that backed up.
Avilan started this inning, walked Tapia, struck out Blackman. Baez came on, struck out LeMahieu. Arenado fouls it off. We'll do the 2-2 again. A great experience Nolan Arenado said playing in the WBC this spring. Something he'd always dreamed of doing, playing for Team USA. Tried out for Team USA when he was in high school for the U.S. Junior National Team, but was cut. He's kept that in the back of his mind, waiting for another opportunity. Lifts one down the right field line. That'll find the seats. It'll stay 2-2. Said he picked the brains of a lot of his teammates on Team USA, and it was a relief for him to find out that, yes, they struggle too. Some of the great hitters in the game.
Think about these guys that play in the big leagues for a while and never play October baseball, and the WBC comes around and they've got right away the excitement of playoff baseball, and it's a different level, a new adrenaline thing these guys come back from and go, wow, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Arenado's had nothing but losing seasons in his career. Full count. Baseball doesn't necessarily need the Rockies in the postseason, but wouldn't be a bad thing for more people to see Nolan Arenado play on a bigger stage. How about as a wild card? Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Heck, they can even win the wild card game. He's battling against Baez, who brings a payoff and gets him swinging. A pump of the fist from Petey, and a 6-2 lead as we go to the ninth. Dodgers up 6-2 on the Rockies, onto the ninth inning. Getting 5 runs in the second tonight, and then a Bellinger home run last inning. Joe Davis, Or Hershiser, Alana Rizzo. Game 2 in a 4-game series between the top 2 teams in the West. And the ageless Chad Qualls comes in here. 14th big league season with his 9th different team.
Fastball slider. Yes, you'll have to lay off the slider.
Goes after the first pitch, dragged to short. Valaika, 1 out.
Sinker away.
Saw Baez with a fist pump to finish the 8th. Chad Qualls one time a few years back when he was in Miami. He gave a big fist pump coming off the mound on his way back to the dugout after a 3rd out. And in his follow through, his cleat caught the ground awkwardly, and he bit it.
Really?
Yeah. Do you have any really embarrassing moments like that?
A lot.
Yeah. Here's Kike taking ball 1.
I don't really want to mention them.
No, you got to.
No, I don't.
How about just 1?
How about getting a phone call from your mom after a game and saying, "Can you stop picking your nose on TV?"
Oh, jeez.
Is that embarrassing enough?
1 and 1. Only now that you've shared it.
Yeah, see? I told you. Lots of them.
Kike came in as a defensive sub as part of a double switch last inning. And batting with the bases empty and 1 gone. 2 and 1. Paul started his big league career back in 2004 with the same team that Kike started his, the Houston Astros. 2 and 2. Then he went to Arizona. Then Tampa Bay, San Diego, Philly, the Yankees, the Pirates, the Marlins, back to the Astros, and now in his 2nd year in Colorado. Full count on Hernandez. Hard hit to third, but speared by Arenado, who gets him. 2 up and 2 down. MLB.TV Premium is back and better than ever. You can watch every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. And you get a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Nolan Arenado, one of 2 players ever to win a Gold Glove in each of his first 4 seasons. Ichiro the other. Ichiro won it in his first 10 years. Hasn't always been a great fielder, though. A lot of times you hear about guys that make plays like that. Oh, it's natural for them. They've always done that. 0-1 on Peterson. 2011 Baseball America Prospect Handbook said that Nolan Arenado was better suited at first. But he dropped 20 pounds. Got to know Troy Tulowitzki, talked him into putting more of an emphasis on his defense. And he's a perfect example of hard work paying off. Peterson showed bunt with a shift on and took a ball. Two and 1.
Jock with 2 of the hardest hit balls in this game today. Still looking for a way to get on, showing that bunt.
2 of his hardest hit this year. On the ground is second. LeMahieu scoops it up. And the inning is over. On to the bottom of the 9th inning. Dodgers with a 6-2 lead. 3 outs away from tying the series as Kenley gets ready. Kershaw goes 7 innings tonight and in position to be the first pitcher ever to win 20 games against the Rockies, breaking a tie that he currently shares with a big unit, Randy Johnson.
Don't forget his hit, too. Got a base hit. Now hitting over 200. And the big fella, Kenley Jansen, not a safe situation, but when you're at Coors Field up by 4, you go to your closer. Lead is a little tighter than just the numbers.
Middle part of the order, Reynolds, Desmond, and Gonzalez. Last night, 3 through 6 in the Rockies order. So Arenado, Reynolds, Desmond, Gonzalez went a combined 9 for 16. Tonight, they are a combined 3 for 11. So the Dodgers doing a much better job on that part of the order and leading 6-2. Reynolds 0 for 2, walked and scored the Rockies' latest run. Strike 1.
He's also 0 for 2 against Kenley Jansen with a strikeout in his career.
One and one. Arizona crushing Pittsburgh right now, 11-3 in the 5th inning. If they hold on to that game, then 3 of the top 4 win totals in the National League all belong to National League West Division teams. Two and one. You have the Rockies at 23, the Nationals at 22, and before the outcomes of these games going on right now, both the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks at 20. The Central's weird right now. Line to left center field. Peterson has a beat on it for out number 1 of the 9th. The Cubs are in 4th place.
Wow.
The Cardinals at 19 and 14. The Reds are 19 and 15. And out of nowhere, the Brewers are 18 and 17. Cubs just sitting at 500 coming into the day. Although the Cubs beat the Cardinals tonight. So 1 through 4 in the Central now separated by a game and a half.
That'll make for a very interesting summer if that maintains its pace.
Ian Desmond 1 for 3. Rockies outfielder taking strike 1. Rockies outfielder, Rockies utility man. He came here to play first base. But Reynolds locking down that spot. He's moved to the outfield, taking time from Gerardo Parra. He actually grew up idolizing Andrew Jones, so wanting to be an outfielder, but as it often happens, the best kid plays short. So Desmond played short growing up in Sarasota, Florida. Didn't play the outfield until last year. First 7 years spent in Washington as the shortstop for the Nationals. 1-2. He's working out at IMG Academy in Florida before the start of the 2016 season, waiting for offers to come in. Saw a Japanese college team practicing there, and the coach invited him to join them, take BP with him, take some ground balls at short, and then he decided, why don't I go shag some fly balls? And he did pretty well at it. Word got out that he was willing to at least try. That's when the Rangers offered him. Because before that, he had the qualifying offer attached to him. He had turned it down. And what happens when players have qualifying offers, and they've fixed this in the latest CBA, but before that, if a team extends a qualifying offer to a player, if another team wants to sign that player, they forfeit their first pick of the draft the following year. So nobody wanted to sign Desmond. Fouls another, still 1-2. It was a really frustrating offseason for him. Wound up settling for half of what the qualifying offer was. They averaged the middle salaries in baseball. That was the qualifying offer, and it was around $16 million 2 years ago. And he settled for half of that. Bounce softly to third. Turner's got it and gets Desmond for the second out.
Kenley broke out the slider right there, put a little bend in it. Most hitters are going to be way out in front of that pitch when he throws predominantly 95 and then the cutter at about 92. Top that easily to Justin.
Rockies Orioles 6 hits over the first 4 innings of this game, but just 1 since. Charlie Blackmon singled in the 5th. That's all. There's a walk in there. Hardly a whimper from the Rockies in the back half of this game. Randolph sets the target over the outside. Jansen comes home, and a fly ball hit well to left center field. Hernandez back, edge of the track to put an end to it. A 6-2 win for the Dodgers to even this series at a game apiece, and back to within a game and a half for the Rockies in the West.
The big fella Clayton Kershaw acts like the stopper, and he is. And now the Rockies are going to have to get used to facing 2 more lefties on the mound. Alex Wood tomorrow and Julio Urias the next day.
Both of whom are pitching really well for the Dodgers. Still with a chance to leave Denver with the lead in the division. So Kershaw gets his 6th win, gets his 20th against the Rockies, the first man to do that. Oh, Hershiser, Alana Rizzo, and the rest of our fantastic crew here in Denver. Joe Davis saying so long. We get you to Access Sportsnet, brought to you by your Southern California Nissan dealers.